Let me start out by saying I am part of a very interdisciplinary team that has existed for 35 years in our Institute for Intelligent Systems. And there's many faculty from many different departments. And our goal is to integrate theoretical research, technology development, educational practice, and empirical evaluation. We think there needs to be a confluence of all these skills in order to create good systems. So here's the overview of the two-day meeting on October 30th and 31st, 2021. And here are the topics. They're kind of divided into 2 3-hour sessions. Each session will last about an hour, and the first 35 minutes I'll give a talk, and then you have 15 minutes to answer questions, and then 10 minutes to rest. So that's kind of the format. Here's lesson 1. How does learning happen? A lot of the insights that I'm borrowing from are from a recent book written by researchers with the National Academy of Sciences, Engineering, and Medicine. And you can get this report. It's called How People Learn. It's volume 2, and it gives highlights on the mechanisms of how people learn. Then I'm going to turn to principles of learning. Researchers have articulated a number of learning principles. Many of them can be instituted in classrooms, but others are easier actually to institute and apply to in technology applications. And these principles of learning have empirical support, and they're kind of endorsed by the Institute of Education Sciences, the Association for Psychological Sciences, and the American Psychological Association. In lesson 2, I'm going to talk about strategies for classrooms and online assessment. And some of this involves summative assessment, formative assessment, and stealth assessment. And you learn what those mean at that time. And so one big key idea is you want to track core concepts, or what we call knowledge components, over time. And you want to select tasks and scenarios and ask questions that tap these knowledge components. And eventually you want to give feedback to students and instructors on how students have mastered these knowledge components. The third lesson is how to promote self-regulated learning, self-assessment, and metacognition. As many of us know, these are core skills that need to be acquired in the 21st century. However, we know, and I'll talk about limitations of these skills in students. Students don't really implement these skills very well at all. One promising approach to have them acquire these skills is an open learning model where students get to see their own performance and track it over time and try to improve their performance on a variety of these skills. And I'm going to talk about some educational technologies that implement this. Lesson 4 is on innovative assessment methods to promote problem solving and critical thinking. And part of these lessons are going to tap into some assessments that involve many countries. And there's been assessment with dozens of countries on adaptive problem solving in, for example, the Program for International Assessment of Adult Competencies, and collaborative problem solving in the Program for International Student Assessment in 2015. And I'm going to talk a bit also on technologies designed to improve these skills in problem solving and critical thinking. Lesson 5 is going to talk about current and future assessment methods using these technologies. And one is automated assessments of essays and open-ended student responses, because computational linguistics has advanced to the point where you can really analyze text with computers with remarkable accuracy. Not perfect, but very accurate in many ways. I'll also talk about student engagement, because if they're not engaged, they're not going to learn. And also assessments of multimodal interaction, from facial expressions and body posture, and in addition to language. And finally, I'm going to talk about intelligent tutoring systems, especially those with conversational agents. I'll talk about example systems and a general framework called GIFT. I'm going to make the point that there are limitations of instructors in personalized learning. It's very hard for an instructor to personalize their learning with many students in their classrooms. So here's where technology can come to the rescue. But it's just not technology per se, it's also an evolving process where the different parts can co-learn. So students can learn from technology, technology can learn from teachers and students can learn from teachers and technology. So that's on the venue. I look forward to giving the presentations and interacting with you on October 30th and 31st.